America! Hey, let's keep this family friendly. Captain America is here, and it's yet another setup movie to the Avengers. You know, when it was announced that they were going to be making all these origin stories before actually doing the Avengers, I kind of had mixed feelings. I'm like, yeah, it's really good that they are making all of these origin stories, because then you get some more character development before they're all thrown into one lot. But it could also backfire, because then they could all just be setup movies, and they could feel like there's no actual substance in any of them. So far, I've been fairly wrong with the latter, and I'm happy about that. Thor, I liked. I think it was an average, good summer movie, and then Captain America comes out. What I actually think of Captain America matches my initial expectations for this movie rather than my later ones. At first I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like some just goofy, old-fashioned superhero movie fun. And then later on I was like, oh, this movie could be really, really good. I really dug the trailers, and I think I was slightly disappointed with my newer anticipation. I was really looking forward to the period setting of this movie because I love period piece action movies. I always really dig it, and I love the 40s style here. It gives a great, almost retro Indiana Jones feel, and I think that is awesome. Unfortunately, when you go for that formula, you kind of risk being a little goofy and a little cheesy at times, but those things are easily forgiven. I was slightly worried about the goofy waters it would tread in when it's getting overly patriotic, because that was its selling point, and I'm not the most patriotic of people, but I did rock the red, white, and blue here. Ironically, I knew they were going to capitalize on the patriotic themes of this movie, and I was worried about that because that can go a little overboard. They actually do that just fine, because there are actually subtle hints of a commentary on commercialism here. That, you know, they throw him, they slap the American flag on him, they brand him as an American hero and use them to advertise and merchandise to their advantage, almost slapstickly, and then he kind of turns that on his heels, and that's where he gets his costume from, almost as a mockery to, you know, how he's been presented, and then turns into the super soldier, almost in defiance of that. Could be totally wrong about that, but if that is what it was going for, it's totally awesome. Most series-starting superhero movies, as of late, have had a lot of trouble blending origin story with their initial villains and the start-off to independent plots. You know, they're supposed to feel like one and the same and kind of synonymous, like Batman Begins, for example. Bruce Wayne turning into Batman wasn't introduced straight into Ra's al Ghul and that initial villain fight. So, you know, they're supposed to feel this fluid with them. Just this year, Thor and Green Lantern really have done a poor job of that. While I did like Thor for a lot of other reasons, here I feel like they really swing that back into their favor. But as I said, yes, there are some very goofy moments, some parts where you just can't take it seriously. A little forced relationships. I didn't feel like there was enough chemistry between some characters. Some characters you're supposed to feel a lot of emotion towards, but you really don't. There isn't the greatest character development, except for, of course, Chris Evans. It was a really great cast, though. You had Stanley Tucci in there, Hugo Weaving, who always seems to have some problems with his face. They just never let that guy show his beauty. But he really does play one mean villain, and here is no exception. He does a great job as Red Skull, and I actually feel like he was someone intimidating, albeit cliche villain. Yes, it is a very old-fashioned feeling movie, and I dug that. Even the action, you know, with the motorcycles, thought that was awesome. There was some amazingly directed action in this movie. So you often get goofiness, as I said, and also cliches, but overall, on the whole, I felt like this was a very enjoyable movie. I think Chris Evans really fits the superhero role. They work with some really good concepts, like a weak man knows the value of strength. I really like those things, and for that, I'll give this movie an 8 out of 10. Maybe an 8.5, close in between the two, because I do like it better than Thor. I'd recommend it. Come on, I just wanted to sing the song, man. It's very patriotic, like in Walmart. Hey, Captain America, it's supposed to be wholesome. I don't need some dirty mouth punk ruining that. The fuck is wrong with you, you little shithead? Bed Bath & Beyond.